the last really great Utah football team at the University of Utah, our next guest was a part of that 2008 Sugar Bowl undefeated team that took down the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, one of the stars of that defense was Stevenson Sylvester, and Sly kind enough to take a few minutes out of his busy day to join me today. What's good, Sly?
Bill, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Good to have you back on again. So how you been?
I have been great, enjoying this beautiful summer here in Utah.
Doing a little traveling, doing a bunch of philanthropy work like you always do?
Always. I'm kind of really focused on my business right now, but I got my birthday coming up, so I got to take a trip back to New Orleans to revisit the Sugar Bowl days for my birthday next week. So, but yeah, I'm doing well.
So do you agree with me? A lot of times you'll know when your team is good, but teams that are great, they kind of know it heading into a season. Did you know back in 2008 that you guys had the potential to be not just good but great, or did it take a little time?
No, there was no time. After the 2007 game in the Pontiac Bowl, we knew. And that's exactly what you said. You know these things. And it's crazy because Utah seems to have a team that has the potential to be just like our 2008 team every year. I feel like we got seniors that leave, like where are we going to rebuild? And then if you look at the roster, it's like, we're good. We're good. Coach Witt and these coaches really have these guys on point. And, you know, me just being around the facility, annoying people, I get to see these guys on a weekly basis. So I'm excited for this football season more than anybody.
So you knew after 07, you know after that Poinsettia Bowl game, I think it was it against Navy in 2007?
Yeah.
Yeah, after that game against Navy, heading into the offseason and throughout the offseason, when you guys were getting together for conditioning, when you guys were getting together for offseason training and into camp, you knew that you had not just a good bunch but a great bunch.
I knew it. As soon as, it was a big part of Coach Witt because right after the Pontiac Bowl game, he came up to me. I mean, I'm literally like, we're still getting our trophy. He's all, this team is yours, and it's going to go as far as you want to take them. And right then, I was like, Jesus, okay, he's going to give me the wheel here. And then I just started looking at our team. I was like, we got our quarterback back, we get running backs back, we get this, we get that. Like, our whole defense is coming back, and like I know the potential, and it's just like we're going to be great. And so it starts in the offseason. So I remember the first workout of heavy legs as we came back for winter training, and it's like we got our whole squad here. Why can we not? We got Michigan to start out the year. Why can we not be great? And so you just go through the whole training offseason, you're like, we have it. Let's put it together. Let's do it. We know how to play football. We know how to play together. We're brothers. And, that whole offseason, we just worked on our camaraderie and chemistry, and then you know what happened in 08.
It was a special year, Sly. You guys, though, there's different ways of approaching it. I remember being around the 04 team, and maybe it was Urban's mentality and mantra. They knew they were going to be great, and they talked about it. Guys like Buha and Fafita and those guys in the offseason were like, yeah, we're going to be good. We're going to go undefeated. We're going to make some history. They were outward about it. I don't remember your 08 team being so outward about it. And this team is talking about unfinished business, but they're not necessarily out yapping about what they're going to do. They're just talking about finishing unfinished business.
No question. And for our 08 team, I do agree with you. There's different ways to carry it. And, the 2003 team, they had a really good year and had 2 losses, which, really bothered them. And, talking to Coach Witt when we played, he's like, when those guys lost the game, you felt it. You knew that they should not have lost that game. And so coming into the 08 year, we kind of have the same feeling that this team here is feeling. It's like we have unfinished business. We got these teams who are too close to us that we should definitely be handling. And so going into that year, we knew we had a job. We knew that nobody can hold our jocks is what we would say back in the day. And so we just went out there and handled business. We just had the confidence of knowing that we know what to do, and all we had to do was get it done. We weren't scared of anybody. No TCU, no USC or whoever we faced that year. We weren't scared of anybody, and we knew that we had the capabilities of doing what we needed to do.
Stevenson Sylvester, our guest here on the Bill Riley Show, former Utah linebacker, former NFL linebacker. I kind of got that sense with these guys, like, Huntley and Moss missed the last 5 games. They lost on a freakishly weird play in the Pac-12 championship game. I kind of feel like that's that game for them. You mentioned the 0-3 team losing a couple of games. I kind of feel like this team looks at that Pac-12 championship game and says, man, it was a weird play. We played them dead even. We didn't have our two best offensive players. We got to get this game. Can a game like that fuel you through the offseason and fuel you into the next season?
No question. I mean, if you look at that, what is it, 4th and 18 on BYU game for us 07 year? Yeah, I can tell you one thing. We did not forget about that. We were so upset. But, yeah, that could – I mean, you look at all two times that we played Washington last year, you know, up here at the house, and, like, our scoring drive, it felt effortlessly as we went down the field. We gave the ball to Zach Moss. We saw how that worked, and we just went away from it. And then you mentioned in that Pac-12 game, we just missed our opportunity on that. And so these guys know that they had the capabilities of beating a Washington who, you know, ended up in the top 10 last year, and you know, that's where Utah should have been. So, yes, that one game, those two games last year, and I bet you anything they're waiting for that November 2nd game against Washington this year.
I know you're 10 years removed from it. The rivalry game, though, is now the first. It's never been played in the first game before. Last year it was the last game again, and kind of felt a little out of place, at least to me. I liked the idea of it, and then when we got to that place, there was a Pac-12 championship game you just played, and I don't know, it just didn't feel the same way it used to. You know what I mean? And so I love the fact that it's the first game of the year now, but people are torn on that. I'm curious, as a guy that played in the game and was part of the rivalry, what do you think of it now being the first game of the year?
Well, I mean, to recent years, last year actually felt a little better. And, you know, I think what's going on with the BYU-Utah game is that we're not in the same conference. So normally when we played BYU at the end of the year, 80% of the time it was for the conference title. And so there was that much more emotion on it besides the in-state rivalry. But, you know, I think we can kill BYU's dreams early this year of beating us. But, I mean, I love the rivalry. I love playing those guys no matter how many times we beat them. I love how Utah has their still BYU pride no matter what. I respect that more than anything. You know, yeah, we beat you 20,000 times. But, you know, I respect anybody who sticks with their team. I don't like bandwagon fans, and I love the BYU culture here in Utah, and, of course, the U of U culture here in Utah, and how we can, you know, live civilly in this environment with having two very different universities as our favorite team.
It's very interesting, though. There's been a lot of talking coming out of Provo about that game and about beating Utah. From the BYU side, it's been pretty quiet on the Utah side. They're just talking about unfinished business. What do you make of all the chirping you heard? Do you like it?
Is that not traditional? Is that not traditional? You hear chirping coming from them all the time. And, you know, as you said before, there's a lot of different ways people carry themselves. People know what goes into that BYU game. But, you know, Utah does have unfinished business, and I think they want to carry themselves humbly. They put themselves on a certain level, so they want to make sure that they keep that. And as you can see, you know, with BYU being independent, their sole focus is on Utah. I mean, we have tons of other goals that we're trying to get. We're trying to get this first win of the year, which is, you know, if you go back to the undefeated year and the DVDs and what Coach Witt's plan to win is win the first game, win the Mountain West Championship, now the Pac-12 Championship, and then win the conference championship and get into the bowl game. And so the first thing on our agenda is to beat BYU now that they're the first game of the year. So it is on our plan to win. But we just know that we're holding ourselves to high standards. And when we come out that first game of the year, we're going to be smoking.
Well, it was interesting. I had Julian Blackman on the show yesterday, and I asked him about that, and he said, hey, it's their Super Bowl. It's not ours.
Right. And that's the confidence and the swagger that you need to have and to know, and anybody who's on top and everybody, just like Tom Brady right now, everybody's gunning for Tom Brady. That guy runs a 5.2 40 right now. but everybody's looking at him like he runs a 4.340 because he's the lead dog right now, and so everybody wants it. And he's in the Super Bowl every year, so everybody wants what Tom Brady has, and BYU wants what Utah has, and they can't get it. We have a confidence that is unrattled right now, and I think these guys have that confidence that we had in '08, and it's going to be very special this year.
You played on a damn good defense, Sly. Bunch of guys, including yourself, went to the league. You guys, I don't know that you were dominant for the whole year, but you were dominant when you needed to be. As you look at this defense, up front, the front four, the back end and the secondary, two new linebackers, a lot of people have thought maybe this is the deepest or the most athletic defense Utah has had. I know yours was awfully good. What do you make of this one?
I feel like I said when I first got on, we keep getting better. We keep getting better and better. I mean, I really love that Anai and Fotu all stayed this year. I really appreciate those guys for keeping us on the map. But, keeping Putu Tau and Penny City, it all starts up front, from the snap of the ball to the deep end pass. When you have the good pass rush in the quarterback's face, they can't get a great pass. You have the ability to have a great D-line to stop the run. It makes the linebackers and safeties' jobs a lot easier. So having a stout, deep defensive line is so crucial that I don't think a lot of people miss. And so it starts with them. And then with our athletic linebackers, the two seniors and Devin Lloyd, rotating in, there's so many things that we did in '08 because we had depth that these guys can do now. Now they have three linebackers. I just saw Devin Lloyd this morning. The guy looks like a freak of nature. I don't know. They better utilize him this year like crazy. But, when we get down to those third and long downs, now we can get to, the knife 0-2 downs where we can set a defender loose, where we can go to a 3-3 front and really cause the offense fits because they don't know what's going on. We call that a little circus defense. The versatility that this defense can do because they have so much depth and experience is going to be something to watch this year. So pay attention to the front seven and how dominant they are from start to finish.
I wanted to ask you about the backers. Bowen's new, but he had the spring. He's a big dude, man. I mean, he is really big. Then you've got Francis, who was in the program, and you mentioned the rising star in Devin Lloyd. Do you think they're good with those three guys?
No question. And, from the rotation that we had this previous year, I think with these three in the mix, it's going to be really good. Francis got some really good experience with the Utah defense towards the end of that year, and I think that would really set the stage for the time he missed during spring ball. But Manny Bowen, when I met him on his recruiting trip, man, he is definitely a talent. And when people always say, "Oh, you're the next Sly or whatever," I don't really actually look at that. But this kid, I think he weighs more than I did when I played. But his athleticism coming from Penn State and that's a Big Ten conference, so you know how to stop the run up there. But I think he's going to be a definite talent here in the Pac-12 and make his mark here at Utah.